Mosaic is brought to you by these generous sponsors and underwriters. Learn how you can support Mosaic by visiting jewishpalmbeach.org. Good morning, I'm Barbara Kay, here with Susan Portnoy, and welcome to Mosaic, Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County's weekly news magazine show. Emerging trends like intermarriage have many in the Jewish community unclear on how Jewish families and identity look different than years in the past. Today, we'll get clarity on how these trends are reshaping the future of the Jewish community with one of the pioneers and foremost thinkers on Jewish education, the charismatic Avraham Infeld. We'll be right back with Mosaic after this brief commercial break.
Live the way you want to live, in the luxury you deserve. At Morse Life's Tradition, choose a floor plan that suits your lifestyle and make it your own. Impeccable service and the gold standard in specialized signature healthcare. Live healthy. Live happy. At Tradition is where the living is easy, every day and in every way. Your home. Morse Life. Tradition.
Please consider supporting Mosaic's generous sponsors at Bruce Gendelman Insurance Services. Visit gendelman.com today for your expert consultation.
The all-new Brayman Porsche, a world-class experience.
Club Raymond is amazing.
World-class dedication.
It's the most exciting thing. I recommend it to anybody. I don't care what your skill level is.
World-class excitement.
I think it's a great brand. These cars are designed to go this fast.
World-class performance.
They took me out to the track to race the car. Anyone that wants to get a Porsche, Raymond's the place to go.
The all-new Brayman Porsche, a world-class experience.
Jewish Federation is rolling out the red carpet for you on March 8th for one night, a celebration of impact. Featured speaker Mark Platt is an award-winning theater, film, and TV producer whose projects include Wicked, La La Land, and many other modern-day classics. One night is taking place at the Palm Beach County Convention Center and features special receptions for Jewish Professionals Network and major donors to Federation. Learn more and RSVP now at jewishpalmbeach.org/one night. Hi, we're here with Avraham Infeld, a pioneer of Jewish education, President Emeritus of Hillel International, and first-time author of a brand new book, A Passion for People. We'll talk about this in a minute. We have so much to talk about. Welcome to Mosaic.
Thank you very, very much.
First of all, you are a man who has spent his entire life devoted to Jewish education with a tremendous amount of passion. Where did that come from?
I think the passion comes from the background of my home.
Tell us about that.
I was born in South Africa, a very Jewish home, not a very religious home. My father was an atheist. He was a Jewish atheist. He always used to say, I'm an atheist, Baruch Hashem, because Jews can't talk any other way. Thank God I'm an atheist. And a mother who was a very bubbly woman full of love. My father was very intellectual, my mother full of love. And I tried to gain what I could from both of them. And it's impacted upon them. They were very Zionist. They spoke Hebrew to each other at home. So I learned Hebrew very willingly because I wanted to know the secrets that they were telling each other. And I had a very strong commitment to the Jewish people. I moved to Israel the day after I finished my high school exams. My dad came
wanted to go?
My dad came to me. I mean, I knew that I'd end up there because South Africa was where I was born, but it wasn't a home. I mean, South Africa is a country that's made up of tribes, and I was simply a member of another tribe. There was the Jewish tribe, and I knew that the Jewish tribe had a relationship to a country up in the Middle East. And one morning my father came to me and said to me, "Goodbye." I said, "Dad, where are you going?" He said, "I'm not, you are." And I went, and that was a long time ago. And I've lived in Israel for almost 60 years, with a couple of periods of serving the Jewish people outside of Israel. And I'm just very passionate about the Jewish people.
Yes, you are. You talk about a Jewish identity, and you use the analogy of a table with 5 legs. Can you talk about that?
I'm very, very concerned about the fact that the Jews are not uniform. And I don't think we're ever going to be uniform again. Jews define being Jewish in very, very different ways. I was brought up in a world in which Judaism was not a religion. It was my people. American Jews are brought up in a world in which Judaism is a religion. I'm concerned about the fact that we are not uniform, especially because I know that we can't survive if we're not unified. So the real question is it possible for the Jewish people to be unified without being uniform? We're not going to be uniform all again. I can tell by looking at you that you're not going to become an ultra-Orthodox Jew tomorrow morning.
Nope.
And I'm not going to become an American Reform rabbi tomorrow. And yet we're members of the same people, and unity is very important to me. So I looked for a way of developing a theory that could enable us to be unified without being uniform. And the theory I developed was taking everything I know about being Jewish and putting it into 5 legs, into 5 columns, and running around the Jewish world, speaking to Jewish communities, speaking to Jews of all kinds, and saying to them, "Listen, can I talk to you about these 5 legs? And is there a way in which you could consider including at least 3 of them in your life?" Now, why 3? Because if you take 2 and I take 2, we could have nothing in common. But if you choose 3 out of 5 and I choose 3 out of 5, first of all, we've made our own choice, but we will always have something in common, because you take 3 out of 5, you can't help it but have it with others. So I talk about these 5 legs, and they're quite intricate. Jewish federations around the world love it when I talk about this, because it talks about the Jewish people and how we can remain a unified force, which is what federations are there for. Federations are there to ensure that the Jewish people remain united. So the 5 legs are Jewish memory. We Jews don't have a history, we have a memory. Do you remember when we first met?
Yes.
When?
About, oh my goodness, many years ago.
We were at Sinai together, dear.
Oh, excuse me.
What's wrong with your memory? But for me, that's a very important part of Jewish education, helping young people and adults recognize that we begin at Mount Sinai. We were all there together. So the sense of belonging, of having a memory, is very important. Secondly, what connects us? We're part of the same family. That excites me, that we're part of a family. By the way, most Jews in this country don't know that. They're told that they're part of a religion.
That's true.
Now that's very problematic, because if you're a religion, you have to answer the question, why should a religion have a state? And by the way, there is no religion in the world that has a state. There are many states that have religions, but there's no religion that has a state. And Israel is not a state, is not a Vatican, the seat of the Pope. No, we are a state like any modern state. Peoples are entitled to states. We have the state of Israel because we're a people. And if we don't teach that to our kids, they'll never understand why Israel should be important to them. The third leg.
You have to wait 1 second about the third leg, because we must take a commercial break. We'll be
That's
back.
America.
We'll be back with the third leg and more with Avraham Infeld after this brief message. Coming up, More from our discussion on the future of the Jewish community with Avraham Infeld.
Please consider supporting Mosaic sponsors at Lesser, Landy & Smith. Visit lesserlawfirm.com to learn more.
Your vehicle deserves world-class service. Here at Brayman Motor Cars, you can drop off your car with confidence that you will receive the highest quality service from our certified technicians and Brayman Motor Cars staff. Take advantage of our complimentary cafe, Starbucks coffee, and customer lounge equipped with Wi-Fi while you wait for your vehicle. Yet another reason why you should join Club Brayman. A world-class experience is the Brayman Motor Cars difference. Now at West Palm Beach and Jupiter.
The tower at Morse Life has standards so high, we had to invent them. Call home a luxury rental community with a full continuum of unmatched high-quality care at your doorstep and a rich, fulfilling lifestyle catered for you. Enjoy every day with a full menu of activities and 5-star services. Elevate your thinking about how you deserve to live now and all the beautiful extras that are yours at the Live-In Tower at Morse Life. It just feels like home. Secure your lease today.
We're talking with Avraham Infeld, and we're discussing the third leg of the 5-legged table for Jewish identity. So, tell us about the third leg.
So the first leg, as I said, was memory. Whose memory? The memory of the members of this family. Family is the second leg. The third leg is, if memory is important to this family, we have to remember that our earliest memory was not that we left Egypt and landed up in Tel Aviv. We stopped somewhere on the way. We stopped at a place called Mount Sinai. And something happened at Mount Sinai. What really happened at Mount Sinai was that this family, the Jewish family, printed its visiting card at Mount Sinai. What are our basic rituals? What are our basic beliefs? What are our dreams for the future? What are our hopes for the world? All of that comes in the world of Mount Sinai. The fourth leg, there's actually a 4A and a 4B. The fourth leg is the land of Israel and the state of Israel. Let me tell you something about the land of Israel. Very interesting. Growing up in South Africa is not only growing up in another country, it's not only another state, it's a different hemisphere. When you have summer, they have winter. When you have spring, they have autumn. But do you know when Jews start to pray for rain in South Africa? They start to pray for rain on a holiday called Shmini Atzeret, which always falls in October. And I don't know anybody who wants rain in October in the southern hemisphere. It's the wrong time of the year. And I didn't always look like this. I used to be a sportsman. And I remember going to my father very nervous and saying, "Dad, my friends are praying for rain. I don't want rain. I've got a game today." My father says to me, relax. Our rain doesn't fall in South Africa. Our rain falls in the land of Israel. Now you try to grow up normal with an answer like that. It's almost impossible. But that's why Israel is such this land of Israel. And thank God you and I happen to be living in a world in which there is a state of Israel. And there's something very special about having a state. And I don't understand how Jews cannot help but love Israel. I can understand Jews sometimes not liking Israel. I don't always like Israel. But there's never a moment in which I don't love Israel. And why do I love Israel so much? Because I just read that the year 2018, there are going to be more refugees in this world than ever before in history. That's amazing, more than the Second World War. And there won't be a single Jewish refugee among them. You know why? Because there is a state of Israel. That's big. That little country in the Middle East changed our family from being a family of refugees to a family that will never again have a refugee. And the last leg is the Hebrew language. What a mess we've made with the Hebrew language. Israelis, you should see what they write on public toilet walls in Hebrew. And when we teach our kids in America Hebrew, We teach them how to read a language they don't understand.
Tell them the story about the Hebrew school kids studying for their B'nai Mitzvah. When they were
When I asked them about...
Yes.
So, Susan, I got two stories I want to tell you about Hebrew. Okay, the first one is, I get invited to a city, I don't want to mention its name. I come early on a Sunday, they said to me, your lecture's only tonight. Would you like to visit our Hebrew school? So I go to their Hebrew school, I walk into a classroom, I see a group of kids surrounding a teacher, and she's trying to teach them how to read a language they don't understand. I looked at the faces of those kids. I saw the suffering of my people. I said to the teacher, why are you doing this to them? She said, I've only got a few years till they borrow bat mitzvah. They have to learn to pray in Hebrew. So I called over one of those kids. I'll never forget him because of his beautiful Hebrew name, Timothy. I said, Timothy, why do you have to pray in Hebrew? Do you know what he said to me? Because God doesn't understand English. Did you know that we have a stupid God? He doesn't understand English. God understands English. Even with an American accent, he understands English. We pray in Hebrew because Hebrew is a language that transfers culture from one generation to another. I'm going to try to fit in another story. I remember running summer camps for Israeli and American kids together. It was amazing. I'm there one Sunday morning with 150 Israeli yuppies, because they have to speak English, waiting for 150 American kids to come and join them.
Who don't speak Hebrew.
Who don't speak Hebrew.
Right.
They come late. They're supposed to be 8 o'clock in the morning. They come in at 1 o'clock. I said, guys, you've killed the morning program. All of you go into the dining room together, and then we will start the program. So 300 Jewish kids, 150 Americans, 150 Israelis walk into a dining room. I have no idea who's who. They're all wearing jeans, they're all wearing sneakers. Most of them have got something pierced somewhere on their body. Until the end of the meal. At the end of the meal, all the American kids were from a Reform youth movement called Nifty. At the end of the meal, the American rabbi gets up and says, okay, kids, the beer cut. You know what the beer cut is? The grace after the meal.
Yes.
Now in America it's called the beer cut. Bad Hebrew, but still. And the American kids sing the beer cut in harmony. It was unbelievable. I got such a great feeling. The Israeli kids were in total shock. They'd never seen it.
Really?
They'd never heard it. They had no idea what it was good for. And they were the only ones who understood it. We are not normal. We can only be normal if we remember that we're a people. We have these 5 legs: memory, family, Mount Sinai, the land of Israel, the state of Israel, and the Hebrew language. Choose your 3, I'll choose my 3, and we'll continue to have something in common.
On that note, we're going to take our final commercial break. We'll be back with Avraham Infeld after this brief message. Coming up, more from our discussion on the future of the Jewish community with Avraham Infeld.
Live the way you want to live in the luxury you deserve. At Morse Life's Tradition, choose a floor plan that suits your lifestyle and make it your own. Impeccable service and the gold standard in specialized signature healthcare. Live healthy. Live happy. At Tradition is where the living is easy, every day and in every way. Your home. Morse Life. Tradition.
Jewish Federation is rolling out the red carpet for you on March 8th for one night, a celebration of impact. Featured speaker Mark Platt is an award-winning theater, film, and TV producer whose projects include Wicked, La La Land, and many other modern-day classics. One night is taking place at the Palm Beach County Convention Center and features special receptions for Jewish Professionals Network and major donors to Federation. Learn more and RSVP now at jewishpalmbeach.org/one night.
The all-new Bremen Porsche, a world-class experience.
Club Raymond is amazing.
World-class dedication.
It's the most exciting thing. I recommend it to anybody. I don't care what your skill level is.
World-class excitement.
I think it's a great brand. These cars are designed to go this fast.
World-class performance.
They took me out to the track to race the car. Anyone that wants to get a Porsche, Raymond's the place to go.
The all-new Bremen Porsche, a world-class experience.
Interested in a different kind of Israel travel experience? Join dozens of local community members for a personalized journey through Israel during the country's 70th year of independence. Israel Your Way is Jewish Federation Community Mission to Israel in June 2018. 5 immersive tracks will explore Israel's technology and innovation, arts and culture and cuisine, spirituality and religion, politics and security, and even a track for first-timers and families. Learn more and sign up while there's still space at israelyourway.org. We're back with Avraham Infeld, having a lively discussion, and I have a major question to ask you. What do you think about the future of the Jewish world?
I'm so glad you asked that, because to mention my book again, there are 3 parts to the book. The one part of the book is stories about my past. The second part is educational lessons. And the third part is what are the problems that I see that the Jewish world has to face. So the number one problem we have to face, the first one, is this question of identity. For Jews to recognize that they're a people, not a religion, not a nation, nothing else. We're a people. That's the first thing we have to do. The second thing we have to do is we have to ensure that Israel remain the nation state of the entire Jewish people. It's not easy. Israel is a state which is going through all kinds of pressures, but it is in many ways ignoring the fact that its major responsibility is to the entire Jewish people. Israel was never created for the Israeli. Israel was created in order to ensure the continued significant survival of the Jewish people. Israelis don't know America. We send birthright kids to get to know Israel. Well, I want to tell you something. The Hebrew name for the birthright program is Taglit, where you come and you reveal something, you learn something new. That's why we send them to Israel. It's about time we had a reverse Taglit, a program in which we bring Israeli kids and young adults and others on programs to Israel, to America, to get to know the American Jewish community. They don't know about Jewish pluralism. They don't understand how the American Jewish community was created. If we want to be one people, we can't have you learn about us and not us learn about you. So it's very important that we introduce something that's going to enable the Israeli Jewish community, so when some politicians make stupid statements about the American Jewish community, there'll be an uproar in Israel of Israelis who are saying, I was there, you're talking nonsense, that's not true, we've got a lot to learn from them. That's very important. The third issue is the question of a big issue in America, which is the fact of intermarriage. You know, to my great-grandmother, intermarriage was not a problem. She never met a non-Jew. She was living in the ghetto. To my grandmother, it began to be a problem. To my mother, it was a serious problem. To me, I know America well. It's a fact of life. I don't know how you prevent intermarriage in America. This is such an open society. But intermarriage was always synonymous with assimilation. I wanted to try to find a way of showing that intermarriage does not have to be assimilation. That is why I spent a lot of time serving as the chairman of the advisory board of a program called Honeymoon Israel, which is a program that brings young married couples from America to Israel, not only to get to know Israel, but to start talking about how can they bring up Jewish kids.
How effective has that been?
It's been unbelievably effective. It's not easy to do. I'm being attacked by so many people within the Jewish community who think that if we say, no, it's a bad thing to marry a non-Jew, it's going to stop it. It's not going to stop it. People say to me, Avraham, you're legitimizing. I haven't met one couple who are waiting for my legitimization before marrying a non-Jew. It's happening. We have to do something about it. Not how do we stop it, but how do we ensure that assimilation is not
We need to embrace them.
intermarriage.
Embrace them in our culture.
Embrace them, welcome them, but let them know that they're joining a family. Do you know how many of these kids say to me, I don't want to have anything to do with converting because I don't want to join another religion. I left my religion to marry this Jewish girl. I don't want to join another religion. It's not a religion. I say to them, join my family. I want to find a way of adopting you and making sure that you bring up kids in my family. Oh, it's a family? I never heard that. It's a different language. We have to start talking about them. And then there's a very, very important other issue. We have to learn why we really exist. I mean, I don't think that Jews were created in order to eat a quarter of a chicken on Friday night. That's not our purpose in life. Abraham, the first Jew, has a discussion with God. And God says to him three things. Number one, God says to him, Abram, not me, the first guy, Abram, go and build the family. I know your wife's already 100 years old, I'll help you, but go and build the family. And the second thing that God says to Abraham is, Lech lecha la'artzecha, go from your land to your homeland. We, Jews who were born after the Holocaust, and I was born right after the Holocaust, we've had to build a family. We've succeeded. We've rebuilt an amazing Jewish family. We went back to our land. But there was a third thing that God said. V'nivrechu bachem kol mishpachot hadama, and may all the peoples of this earth be blessed by your presence. We exist in order to make this a better world, to do tikkun olam. That's why I'm thrilled to do what I can to strengthen the Jewish people so that they remember that what they have to do is to make this a better world, not only for Jews, but a better world for humanity.
That was brilliant, and all of your efforts have paid off. You're just an incredible, inspirational teacher and educator, and thank you for all that you do. And also, I'm thrilled that you joined us for Mosaic.
Thank you very much for the interview. Anything that helps me spread the word.
Absolutely. And please read this book.
Mosaic is brought to you by these generous sponsors and underwriters.